Alright, so here is the KNS anti-roll pins. These are the Gen 2s. Basically the difference between the Gen 1 and Gen 2, before I get into talking about this thing, are these aluminum pieces here. Sorry, I have a cold. Basically the difference between the Gen 1 and Gen 2 is these. See how they start out thick with a circle and then go to thin and then a bigger circle? The Gen 1s are actually just going to be thick all the way down to connecting point. So that's sort of the difference between the two. I mean, that's really the only difference between the two, is that these are going to be thinner. And I think these look better, to be honest with you. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use these because I bought a Geisley trigger. And they say do not use KNS anti-roll pins with this because it can create some issues in the long run. Not in the short term, but the long run. So I'm going to do what they told me and not use them. And it's kind of funny because KNS sells this trigger on their website, but you can't use their trigger pins, which whatever. So yeah, this will work. This is the small pin, so it's the 0.54 diameter. It is the mil spec diameter. This will work for, you know, the AR10, AR10s, AR15s, and the M16, as indicated here. Installation on this thing is really easy. They actually give you something that you can thread in to this pin, so that you can push your stock pin out while pushing this one in, so you don't actually have to really take apart much of anything. It's really easy to install. They even give you the Allen keys for the 2 bolts. You're going to need 2 of them because you're going to have to tighten it at the same time to keep that pin from rotating inside of the receiver. And so once you get this one in, you basically have this one here that the closed ends connect to, because you can see they're like little blades on the end, on each end. And basically there's a blade milling in those. So this is a real short review, just kind of like basically a packaging deal. It comes with the sticker, instructions, everything you need to know to actually put this thing in your AR, your M16, or your AR-10, whatever. If you have any questions on this, let me know. I think I picked this up at Primary Arms, I think is where I bought this, and I think it was around 35, 36 shipped or so. Don't quote me on that. But again, I'm not going to be able to use this, and I think Geisley is the only trigger system that doesn't recommend, or basically comes out and says don't use anti-roll pins. Pick this thing up if you've got, you know, a normal trigger group, or, you know, not a really high-end trigger group, especially the low-end stuff. If you want something this is basically insurance. It keeps the pins from rotating or walking inside of your lower receiver, basically messing up the holes in your lower receiver. You could expand them, could mess with the trigger, you could have a nasty trigger play, creep, everything else. So this helps with that. Pick these up. As long as you don't have a Geisley trigger, anything else this should work for. Any questions, let me know. I hope this helps. Take care.